Hey, Leap Inspire family. Welcome back to your go-to channel for stories that hit you right in the heart and keep you hooked till the very last second. Today, we're diving into a tale so intense, so packed with secrets, passion, and redemption, it'll leave you speechless. Picture a woman carrying a truth that could shatter a town, a love that defies every rule, and a moment that changes everything. This is Francine and Jasper's story. A 20-minute roller coaster of drama, heartbreak, and hope that you need to see through to the end. Grab your popcorn, hit that play button, and let's ignite that spark together. Trust me, you won't want to miss a single twist. In a small town where the sun burned hotter than the gossip, Francine Reyes was a force of nature. A journalist with a sharp mind and sharper courage, she was known for asking questions that made powerful people squirm. But 6 years ago, she carried a secret heavier than any front-page scoop. She was pregnant with a child of Jasper Sanchez, the charming mayor and heir to her family's sworn enemies. The Reyes and Sanchez clans have been locked in a bitter feud for decades, sparked by a land dispute that saw Jasper's father, the former mayor, seize farmland from struggling locals. Farmers Francine's father, a lawyer, fought for in court. Revealing her pregnancy would have been a scandal to end both families, so Francine fled to the city, raising her son, Franco, alone, far from the town's prying eyes. It all started one chaotic night at a crowded bar on the outskirts of town. Francine was there to drown her frustration after a tense assignment covering Jasper's community center groundbreaking. She grilled him on stage, her voice cutting through his polished smile. "How do you respond to accusations that your father took farmland from poor farmers?" she'd asked, her eyes locked on his. Jasper's smooth answer, claiming his father championed farmers, only fueled her anger. That night, the bar was alive with a local tradition, masks to hide identities, letting people let loose without judgment. Francine, masked and tipsy, didn't recognize the man who approached her. Neither did Jasper, masked himself, know it was her. Their chemistry was instant, electric. A spark that had simmered beneath their public clashes. One drink led to a dance, one dance to a kiss, and soon they were in a private room, giving in to a night of passion. Clothes fell away, their bodies speaking what words never could, raw, hungry, unstoppable. Francine woke at dawn, her head pounding, and froze when she saw Jasper's face beside her. Panic surged. She slipped out, heart racing, vowing to bury the memory. Jasper, waking alone, had no clue who he'd been with, only a lingering sense of something unforgettable. Weeks later, Francine stared at 2 red lines on a pregnancy test, her world tilting. She sat on her bathroom floor, the weight of her reality crushing her. Telling Jasper was unthinkable, his family's influence, her family's hatred, and the town's gossip would destroy them. So she packed her bags and moved to the city, building a new life. Franco was born 9 months later, a bright-eyed boy with his father's dark curls and stubborn jaw. Every time Francine looked at him, her heart swelled with love and ached with guilt. "Where's my daddy?" Franco would ask, his small voice piercing her. "He's working far away, baby," she'd lie, her throat tight. She worked grueling hours at a city newsroom, refusing her parents' help. "I'll raise him my way," she'd say, her voice firm but exhausted. For 6 years, she kept her secret, shielding Franco from the truth and the town's judgment. Now, fate dragged her back. Her alma mater invited her to speak at their commencement ceremony, and her parents, still entangled in local politics, needed her presence for their campaign plans. Francine returned with Franco, now a curious 6-year-old, his questions about his father sharper than ever. The town hadn't changed, same dusty streets, same nosy neighbors whispering rumors. Francine married a foreigner and got dumped. or "that boy's adopted." She ignored them, focusing on her speech, but her nerves spiked when Jasper walked into the guest room. He was every bit the confident mayor, his eyes warm but probing, his ambitions set on the governor's seat. "Didn't know you'd be here," he said, his voice carrying a hint of curiosity. Francine forced a smile. "Surprise." His gaze lingered, as if sensing something. She deflected, asking about his rumored engagement to the governor's daughter. "That was a stunt," he said, shaking his head. "No wedding." Her heart skipped, but she brushed it off, hurrying Franco out before Jasper could see him. The boy's resemblance to his father was uncanny. Same dark eyes, same stubborn smirk. The past refused to stay buried. Francine's parents dropped a bombshell. They needed her to run for mayor against Jasper's party. Her father, ineligible due to unresolved citizenship issues, couldn't run, and their party needed a candidate to complete the lineup. "I'm no politician," Francine protested, her voice rising. "I'm a journalist, not a campaign poster." But her family's pleading wore her down. Her father's legacy, her aunt and uncle's desperation, the town's need for change. Reluctantly, she filed her candidacy at the town hall, standing face to face with Jasper. "You're running?" he asked, his lips twitching with amusement. "Do I look like I'm joking?" she snapped, her eyes blazing. Their rivalry reignited old sparks, every debate and public event crackling with tension. At a tree-planting rally, Jasper caught her alone. "We need to talk," he said, his voice softer than usual. "I'm sorry for how things have been. Can we call a truce?" She hesitated, thinking of Franco. A truce might be the first step to telling him. Before she could respond, her phone rang. Her mother, frantic. "Franco's been hit by a cart. He's unconscious. Get to the hospital." Francine's world stopped. Jasper saw her face and insisted on driving her. They sped through the town, her heart pounding as she prayed for her son. At the hospital, her parents were in tears. "He's lost a lot of blood," the doctor said. "He needs an AB-positive transfusion. It's rare." Francine's family didn't match. Jasper, standing nearby, stepped forward. "I'm AB-positive. I'll donate." As he followed the doctor, Francine's resolve cracked. She sat beside him after the donation, her voice trembling. "He's our son, Jasper." His eyes widened, shock giving way to realization. "That night at the bar," he said, his voice low. "It was you." She nodded, tears falling. "I didn't tell you because of our families. I was scared, your power, my family's feud, the scandal." Jasper's jaw tightened, but he said nothing, his gaze fixed on Franco's sleeping form, a bandage on his small arm. The DNA test confirmed it. Franco was his. Jasper's world shifted. He dropped his gubernatorial campaign, choosing family over ambition. "I want to know him," he told Francine, his voice raw with emotion. They spent days together, picnics in the park, amusement park rides, Franco tugging Jasper's hand, calling him Daddy, with a grin that melted them both. But the town wasn't done with him. The campaign grew uglier. Flyers torn down, rumors accusing Francine of using her son for sympathy, others penning Jasper as corrupt. Furious, Francine stormed into his campaign office. "Your team's playing dirty," she accused, her voice shaking. Jasper leaned close, his eyes intense. "You know better than to accuse without evidence, Miss Reyes." Her hand swung to slap him, but he caught her wrist. The air thickened, and he kissed her, hard, desperate, pulling them back to that masked night. She shoved him, but her body betrayed her, responding to his touch. "This can't happen," she gasped, storming out, her heart screaming. "He's the enemy. He's Franco's father. He can't know. Franco's questions grew harder to dodge. Mommy, why don't I have a daddy like my friends? He asked, his big eyes searching hers. He's working far away, she lied, her throat tight. At night, she'd lie awake, replaying that night, Jasper's touch, the secret she carried. She wanted to tell him, but fear stopped her. Fear of his family's rejection, fear of Franco being caught in their feud. At a campaign debate, gunshots rang out, chaos erupting. Jasper grabbed her hand, pulling her to safety behind a parked car. In the quiet of a deserted road, he asked about Franco. His father's gone. She lied again, her voice sharp. Jasper's gaze softened. He looks familiar, he said quietly, and Francine's heart raced. She changed the subject, but the weight of her lie grew heavier. The campaign's final weeks were brutal. Francine's team struggled with a tight budget, relying on grassroots support, while Jasper's well-funded machine rolled on. At a community outreach event, they crossed paths again, handing out food to kids. Jasper caught her eating alone behind a tent. You need more than soup, he said, sliding a lunchbox of homemade chicken adobo and fruit toward her. No catch, just eat. She glared but took it, her heart softening at the gesture. Later, at a heated town hall, their teams clashed over policy. Francine called out Jasper's family history, her voice steady. Your father's laws didn't protect farmers. They crushed them. Jasper fired back. Those farmers were compensated. Check the records. The crowd murmured, and Francine's cheeks burned, knowing her father's legal battles against the Sanchez family had come up short. One night, Francine woke to nausea, her mind racing. She hadn't felt this way since. No, it can't be. A pregnancy test confirmed her fear, positive. Her heart sank. Another child with Jasper, and he still didn't know about Franco. She kept it secret, focusing on Franco's recovery and the campaign. But at a charity gala, Jasper noticed her unease. You okay? He asked, his voice gentle. She brushed him off, but his concern lingered in her mind. The gala was for his supposed engagement. A political stunt, he'd said, but seeing him with another woman, even for show, stung more than she expected. Franco's accident had changed everything. Jasper started showing up at her family's home, bringing toys for Franco, asking to spend time with him. He's my son, he'd say, his voice firm but soft. Francine watched them bond, Franco giggling as Jasper pushed him on a swing, their laughter echoing in the park. Her heart ached with what could have been. One evening, Jasper stayed late, helping Franco with a puzzle. You're good with him, Francine said, her guard lowering. Jasper looked at her, his eyes intense. I want to be good for both of you. She froze, the air heavy with unspoken truths. The campaign's final event was chaos. A rival party's supporters started a brawl, and Jasper pulled Francine to safety again. In the hospital, where he'd been grazed by a stray bullet, she sat by his bed, her hand on his. I thought I'd lost you, she whispered. He squeezed her hand. You won't. That night, she told him about the new pregnancy. His eyes widened, then softened. We'll do this together, he said. Francine nodded, tears falling. The truth was out, and there was no going back. Jasper withdrew from the gubernatorial race, and Francine lost the mayoral election, a relief to her. They focused on family, moving to a quiet house outside town. Jasper proposed under a starlit sky, Franco asleep in his arms. Marry me, he said, his voice steady. I want you, Franco, and this new baby forever. Francine said yes, her heart full. Their wedding was small, at the Sanchez estate, with Franco stealing the show as ring bearer. A year later, with their newborn daughter in their arms, Francine returned to journalism, Jasper to community work. Their love, once a dangerous secret, now burned bright, a beacon of hope. Leap Inspire family. That's the story of Francine and Jasper. A secret that could have destroyed them, a love that fought through every storm, and a family that found their way home. Smash that like button, share this with someone who needs a spark, and tell us in the comments, what's a truth you've held onto that changed everything? Stay inspired, and we'll see you in the next one.